What is going on, guys? My name is Sami. Welcome back to more WWE breaking news. I don't know if you could see it behind me, but Triple H returned to ring last night. That was the biggest story last night. Wait, what? Finn Balor is also back? Yes. Finn is finally back. Let's talk about it all in this video. So let's talk about it. Finn Balor's officially back. He teased it yesterday with a picture of his gear, and now he's in fact back. And if you watch his entrance that WWE tweeted out, which you can go to twitter.com/WWE, it was crazy, man. He got a big pop, and I'm excited for the fact that Finn is finally back in the WWE. At SummerSlam, when he beat Seth Rollins and he became the WWE champion, it was going to go on to bigger and better things, but then there was a revelation that he was injured. I thought, damn, dude, because there were so many possibilities after SummerSlam that I had speculated possibly with the Balor Club, with Luke and Carl, with AJ Styles. At the time, probably AJ Styles and Luke and Carl going back and forth between the shows. Then they went for a hard split. And then you see everything that AJ has done. Well, now Finn is back. So what does Finn do? I mean, if you think of the title picture over on WrestleMania, a lot of people are thinking that it's a slight to Kevin Owens. And, you know, he carried the company all year. But at the same time, Finn, the plan probably was for Finn to hold the belt. So Kevin holding it the last 6 months, if you really think about it, it was meant for Finn. So as upset as people are, the fact that Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar is main eventing WrestleMania, if Finn won at SummerSlam, how long was Finn supposed to hold the belt? What were the plans with Finn Balor originally? Was Finn supposed to be the guy to carry it all year and then drop it just for Goldberg to take it to Brock Lesnar? That's a serious question. I think that's something that a lot of fans miss, because if it wasn't Kevin Owens, what would Kevin Owens have done the last 6 months? So as a WWE fan, I appreciate more things that are happening within the WWE, understanding the fact that, yeah, Kevin Owens did drop the title to Goldberg. It fucking sucks. But then I talked to casual wrestling fans, and they're like, I'm fucking excited for Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, which is huge. I had one friend that actually went, who's Kevin Owens? But Goldberg, I remember Goldberg, he's like, he laughed and said, is Gilbert going to be there? And when it comes to casual fans, those big names work, regardless of what people's opinions are for the hardcore wrestling fans like you and myself, or myself and you. A huge portion of casual fans understand and recognize Goldberg and Brock Lesnar. So now that Finn is back, what does Finn do? Is Finn going to get a high-profile wrestling match? If you thought about it, the tag team match last night, it was a 6-man between Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Chris Jericho taking on Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and Triple H. The corporation, the authority, whatever you want to call them, they're a faction, they're a group. Well, maybe just last night they were an actual group. They weren't actually like a faction. Although some people have started to see Triple H kind of align himself, which again, it makes fucking sense, because Triple H, like if you watch Wrestling Isn't Wrestling with Max Landis, the character totally makes sense. And the evolution of Triple H is one of the reasons I was writing a book on Triple H. You know, the ultimate control for power, that everything he's always done, he's surrounded himself with people. And if he can't do it, he has somebody else do it, and then until he has to step in. He's always looking to put over other talent, and he's always looking at ways to grow this business. So now that Finn is back, what is Finn Balor going to do? And that's a big question to me, because Kevin Owens is going up against Y2J now. So it's like, in a perfect world, if Finn Balor was Triple H's guy from NXT, like you had Kevin Owens who was also his guy. But that's the thing with Triple H. Because he built NXT, he surrounded himself with guys that he can be attributed to. Unlike Vince, who just picked up stars or did things with them. Triple H essentially, in the WWE universe, because Kevin and Finn already had their own thing, made him a big deal in WWE, so they could kind of feel some sort of, thing for him, and they can be his guys, like Kevin Owens is. So now with Finn back, what happens if Kevin Owens gets shafted? What if Triple H gives the favorite to a guy like Finn Balor? Now that Finn is back, what if Finn was the prodigal choice, and Finn Balor, in fact, is going to regain his title? And Kevin Owens, and we talked about this with AJ Styles, AJ facing Shane at WrestleMania isn't the worst thing in the world when you consider the story behind it, how he coasted all year on SmackDown, but when push came to shove, the authority gave it to John Cena, and then John Cena lost it to Bray Wyatt. Now a fan favorite has it. Meanwhile, AJ is raging against the authority, or I keep calling him the authority, but the authority figures on SmackDown. And it looks like he's going to face Shane. Well, what happens if he's facing Shane, he beats him at WrestleMania, and the very next Tuesday, he's like, all right, I want my one-on-one match. I beat you. And then he's like, Daniel Bryan's like, sure. And then Shane comes in and is like, oh, by the way, I traded you to Raw. You're like, what the fuck? Like, could you just imagine that happening? And then you reunite Finn and AJ and the club. Oh! But then you find out Gallows and Anderson actually switched over to SmackDown instead. The possibilities are endless. And now the fact that Finn is back, like I said, what is going to happen? Who is the prodigal choice for Triple H? Is there one? Is he going to surround himself with a big faction? Are we going to get a Finn Balor turn? Are we going to get Finn Balor back to where he was? Because Finn was champion. He's going up against Seth Rollins right now. Which, if you think about it, Triple H trying to go after Seth Rollins makes more sense that he hurt his golden boy. He hurt Finn. Seth had his freaking chance. He didn't listen. Triple H, went after him. He cost him the championship. But if you think about it from an overarching writing perspective, not WWE with backstage news, it was fucking punishment for taking out Finn Balor. So now that Finn is back, even though in that picture right there, Finn is on team Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, will Finn realign with Triple H? And that's the big question that's making me very excited as a wrestling fan, because as a wrestling fan, there are so many different possibilities and there's so many different ways they can in fact go. And if you think about that, that is awesome. I mean, honestly, like, Finn could do anything. Like, Finn doesn't need to be in a group. Like, if you saw Finn Balor's pop when he came back, it was huge. Finn Balor could just do his solo thing and have a great career. But we don't have a dominant heel faction right now. So, like, let's say AJ goes in and then it dominates. And the way that Wrestlemania goes off air is with Goldberg and Brock Lesnar in the middle of the ring, and then the club is there to beat the fuck out of him like I speculated the other year. Could you imagine the pop of just Goldberg and Brock have a crappy main event, but then Balor and the club reunite and just lay waste to everybody? And then now Kevin Owens is panicking on Monday Night Raw. He's like, H, you told me I had a match. You told me I could have it whenever I want. And Triple H is like, that's your fucking fault for believing me. And I'm just excited as a WWE fan. I know a lot of people will hear me talk about this and they'll pique their interest, like, oh, this is going to be awesome, this is going to be rad. Then WWE will probably go a direction like Daniel Bryan versus Kane. But when you actually think about it, it makes sense. And, in the book I'm kind of writing with Triple H, you'll kind of see what Big Show and Kane, they've always been an extension of Triple H in some way, shape, or form. And I'm pretty excited about that. Now, a lot of people would contend that point, but I'm not lying. If you look at the actual history like I have looking from the last 15 years, there's always correlation with Big Show and Kane. Triple H has always surrounded himself with other guys. So is Finn that guy? Is KO that guy? Is Samoa Joe that guy? What happens now that Finn is back? So I want to pose that question to you guys. What do you think Finn Balor is going to do now that he's back? Is he going to switch over and is he going to join the Authority? Is he going to bring back the Balor Club? Is he going to do a solo gig? Is he just going to do him? Is he going to go on to something bigger and better? Honestly, I'm too excited even thinking about it. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that matters most is WWE is finally getting some of these guys back from injury. Now, I don't want to jinx it and I don't want to say anything bad, but I hope to God Finn doesn't get hurt because I want him back in the WWE. WWE's had a bad string of injuries where right as when a guy comes back, he maybe gets re-hurt. I don't think anybody really expected Seth Rollins to get injured that fast. They didn't expect him to get hurt. Even Roman Reigns, the year he had to go away for months at a time. It's like every year somebody big gets hurt, which, that's injuries. That's how the WWE works. But now that it was Finn, and Finn is back from his SummerSlam thing, it makes you question the whole year. What would have happened if Finn was champion? Could Finn have been in the coasting role like Kevin Owens, and finally he gets fucked, and that's where the club would have came in? If you think about the possibilities, everybody right now is so caught up in the fact that KO carried the company, and KO did all this stuff, and he deserves the main event, which I 100% agree. KO deserves the main event, but KO wouldn't have deserved the main event if it wasn't for Finn Balor getting hurt. And that's something a lot of WWE fans don't realize. So I really want to pose the question to you guys. What would you want Finn Balor to do? Do you want Finn Balor to be the guy that's the good guy going up against Triple H? Maybe he's the one that steps in instead of Sami Zayn going up against Triple H. Maybe he's the Sami Zayn type that when I speculated Sami could pivot away from what he was doing with Braun and then go up against Triple H to try to get some revenge for Seth Rollins. Well, if Seth Rollins is wrestling, it almost makes you wonder, you could have Finn Balor come out and be like, listen, I saw what you did to Seth. You were kind of grooming me for that role. So Triple H is in the match, and then there's Balor taking out his whole club. He's like, Yeah. Before you turn on me, I'm turning on you. And then Triple H tries to make a living hell for the Balor Club. So the people he surrounded himself with, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Braun, I don't know who else is in there, can go to war with Finn Balor, and we can have a faction feud again. Like I miss something like the Shield, something like the Nexus to be a driving force behind what's going on TV. So now that Finn is back, man, the possibilities are endless. Anything can happen, and I am so freaking excited as a WWE fan. But on top of that, like when you heard the pop and when you heard the fans genuinely get behind him, it makes me question it. Like, does he need the club? Am I just holding on to the club from the Balor Club when he was Prince Devitt, or the Bullet Club over in New Japan? Does he have to be? Can he do his own thing? And at the end of the day, the one thing that I'm just so happy about is the fact that Finn Balor's back. You had, in that six-man tag, Jericho actually pinned KO with a codebreaker. And like I said, all the possibilities that can happen. As a wrestling fan, you are now excited. What is Finn Balor going to do? What is Triple H going to do? What is Sami going to do? And what happens if Finn turns on everybody and we have a huge club? What happens when we have a huge club reunion and nobody has any idea what to do and they just fucking wreak havoc? But is Triple H going to control them, or are they going to be separate from Triple H? It's a big question. And I'm going to leave it there. So until next time, Finn, you're back. Now, what are you going to do? I'm excited. Let's see what you got.